Here's the story of a bunch of podcasts who were bringing Cubby content to the world. All of them did their own show. Unconnected, obsessive baseball nerds. It's the story of a bunch of Cubs fans who are consolidating all their shows. They're uniting, doing it together, so we all can grow. Cup of Cubby Blues combining with Sunranto, baseball rabbit hole and Cubs PS Plus. With Cubs fun and breaks behind the ivy, they're all teaming up to be the Bleacher Bunch, the Bleacher Bunch. We love the Cubs, that's the way we became the Bleacher Bunch.
Welcome to the Bleacher Bunch on the Fans First Network, brought to you by all of our Patreon supporters who support us at patreon.com/Bleacher Bunch, and especially our sponsors, In the Clutch Shirts and Matt Cameron's Permanent Paintings. Thanks for being here, everybody, tonight. We are in the middle of the All-Star break, and I'm joined by the lovely Sarah Sanchez. How are you?
I mean, I'm doing great. I watched Kyle Schwarber go 3 for 3 in a home run swing off, which is truly, I live for this, Danny. I will never get over the Cubs non-tendering him over a pittance. Nothing. $8 million. That was the most ridiculous decision ever. And the Schwarbino's revenge has been sweet.
Well, at least Tom's biblical losses were assuaged, and we made sure that his billion stayed in his pocket. But tonight, I'm hoping that some of your hard-earned money ends up in somebody else's pocket, and that is the fine people that work over at Native Nations. It's an organization that supports Native American athletes, especially the youth, and it's founded by a former major leaguer who played with 5 different MLB teams, including the Crosstown White Sox. So he has spent some time in Chicago. We got to ask him what his favorite pizza is here, because we're a Chicago podcast, and also a Bleacher bum herself, and somebody that we hang out with all the time on Ball Hawk Corner, Margaret Wenzel, who is helping out running. I don't even know what her title is at Native Nations. We'll have to ask her when she comes on. So without further ado, let's just bring on our guest tonight, DJ Carrasco, the founder of Native Nations, and Margaret Wenzel. Welcome to the Bleacher Bunch. Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
So DJ, I'll just start with you because you're the founder of Native Nations. Tell me how you got the idea to start this organization and what inspired you to found it and work so hard to keep it going.
Yeah, I had after my playing days, I took a long trip to New Zealand for a couple weeks there, and me and my wife fell in love with the country. Fast forward 10, 12 years later, I became a WBC staff member. I grew grassroots, speaking at colleges, T-ball, youth, Babe Ruth, Cal Ripken, with a lot of their Maori culture and the Kiwis alike. So basically helped build a national program overseas. When I got back home, I still play in res ball. I still have fun. Like, I still play all the time. And it just one day it kind of dawned on me, like, there's no Native American representation at any international level, right? It's the WBC with the New Zealand team was about as close as I seen in my experience. And I said, I want to try and do something like that back home. So on year 3, we knocked down a ton of barriers, a ton of walls. Hats off to Babe Ruth. They have acknowledged the native sovereignty in our lands, 574 plus tribes. We're going to have a national Native American team being represented in Branson this year as the first and only Native American team to compete in their World Series this year. And we hope to roll out several different age groups in the futures, boys and girls, as well as future Olympic representation, hopefully, and World Baseball Classic. I mean, it just think of us as any other national body across the world, and that's what we're trying to recreate. So that's kind of the small of it. Yeah.
And
I just have to jump in. That does not sound small to me. Listeners of this show know that my day job is in education and making sure that there are youth programs that are out there and making a difference for kids. And so I love this so much. I think this is an incredible organization and opportunity. And I really love what you just said about the World Baseball Classic and your experience in New Zealand. I got to go to the World Baseball Classic a couple of years ago. It was one of the most incredible baseball experiences I've ever had in my entire life. I've talked about it on this show, and bringing that to people on the reservations, our native populations, I just think it's wonderful.
Well, thank you for that. There's a lot more to it than just that. Like, I'm talking about building at a young age from T-ball all the way up. Our native communities across the country have really good rec centers. Some have fields. I mean, I like to say there's 130 national programs out there in diamond sports plus, not 130 plus. And I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm just trying to put chrome on it. Like, we can do things different in America because of the native population isn't as big as USA baseball. And so I think we can cater some of the programming and the development. We talk about education, language preservation is a big deal, cultural appropriate classes, and so on. This thing just goes on and on and on. But for now, we're talking about tomorrow. We're going to start our event, first national tournament here at Salt River Talking Stick Fields on the Colorado Rocky side. And from there, as I said earlier, we're going to go to the Big Blue World Series.
And Margaret, what is your involvement with Native Nations? When you started telling me about this over on Ball Hawk Corner, right in front of the shrine to my very own mother, I was like, "Oh my God, this sounds incredible! I would love to introduce this to the Bleacher Bunch San Ranto crew." So, how did you get involved with DJ and this tournament at Salt River Fields that begins tomorrow, and this organization? It's what's your story?
Oh, yeah. And I think it's all that mama ranter positive energy, honestly. Right. Okay. So, a mutual friend of DJ and mine, who's a former MLB player in the Chicagoland area, reached out to me around the time that our friend Dave, Ballhawk Dave, said, "Hey, let's go to the World Baseball Classic qualifiers down in Tucson." And of course, Mesa at Sloan to go see other friends of ours like Tom and some of the other Ballhawk Corner guys. So anyway, it was, God's timing, as I like to say. Dave and I were already going to the qualifiers, and this DJ and my mutual buddy said, "Hey, this friend of mine, DJ, is starting this, he's been working on this project and he might need a grant writer." And as you all know, I do grant writing, do fundraising, kind of a Jill of all trades, whatever. And so it just worked out. And as soon as I met DJ, it was, and this is going to embarrass him a little bit, but it's true. Like, it was just electric. I was like, how can I be involved? This is amazing. Please make me useful, right? And so it's just been the privilege of a lifetime to be an ally and supporter of this mission. And it's like great people like, you, Danny, and you, Sarah, and the rest of our friends. Like, I feel like it's such a good, positive thing. Like, how could we not be involved, right? So, yeah, that's kind of it. I help DJ in whatever he needs help with, operational, fundraising, partnerships, whatever it takes for us to launch.
Well, and I'm going to put up the website address because everybody should just go check it out, because there is a lot to it, and there's a lot launching. So many different programs that you guys are running, and obviously different needs for different ages of athletes, of kids, different, not just the athletic, but also the working on the spirit of the person, working on the nutrition of the person. DJ, would you mind talking a little bit about specifically? I thought that I liked the whole home plates, that program, which is about the holistic, nutritional, in some case, native food oriented diets and it's part of training. You could probably talk about it better than I can, because I don't even know what I'm talking about. You do.
I might, Meg, we might defer to Autumn, who's in the room over there, to actually come on there. She's our head of our home plates.
Oh,
she's the mastermind behind it all. I could speak a little bit to it, but I can't do it justice like
and Autumn is your wife.
Yes, Autumn is my wife.
All right, I'll go get her. No problem.
She's involved too. Well, then before we get to that, could you talk a little bit about this opening ceremony that you have planned on Saturday, I believe, which sounds like it's just going to be wild with a bunch of different flags from all the different nations.
Yeah. So I'm gonna back up a little bit even more. So when I first had the idea to do this, we're not the first in Indian country to actually put on a baseball tournament, right? but there is some different. Ours has pathways. Ours has pot at the end of the rainbow. Like there's some recognition internationally, globally. Like there's some really cool things about what we can offer with our charter. The Arizona has a very large population of Native athletes, probably the largest in the country, maybe second to Oklahoma, maybe. And so we thought we would get 6 to 7 teams maybe that popped in, and 8 to 9, 12 free agent players that'll kind of, geographically, whether they didn't have a team to play for at all, or they were kind of a part of a team that didn't have enough Native kids to field their own team. We have over 65 free agents that signed up with this tournament. I've never seen anything like that. I didn't plan for anything like that. The coaches were like, we didn't think there was anything like this going to happen. But I got to say, hats off to all my coaches. Some people are giving me players from their teams to balance rosters. Others are taking them. Others are volunteering to coach 2 teams with their staff because they understand the importance of what this means, right? To be represented on an international stage as a Native American sovereign team. So hats off to those guys around that. It's back to some of the other stuff about our opening ceremonies. We have, I want to say, 4 different chairmen or presidents going to be represented. Some of their council will be represented. Autumn has done an amazing job of scheduling vendors. Like we're going to have a ton of art vendors. We have some fry bread vendors, food vendors. Like it's just going to be a really good time. We're going to have fun. We're going to play some ball. It'll be hot. We're trying to set up some fans, some cool zones. We're taking care of everybody. Umpires, the teams were free of charge. The players were free of charge. Like it's just a really exciting buzz. Everywhere we've called around our community here, donating ice, Garrett's Ice, my buddy Advantage pool guy, like they're giving us canopies and trailers, and people are just pouring out for the support here. Even within Salt River Communities Tribe, they're hearing about it. Like it's just really cool to see how quick that the word has just kind of spread.
It's streaming on an amazing platform called FNX, which stands for First Nations Experience. I'm going to be dropping some of that like on our socials, and I can also drop it in the chat. So they're streaming our championship game this Sunday night. This is really historic. So they're just doing this because they understand the mission. And like DJ said, I mean, we could go on and on and on and give shout outs to every single person, including you guys. You can be getting shout outs too for being on the socials because you're just awesome.
Well, it takes everybody, to kind of get the word out, and sometimes things can get a life of their own once you get the idea. As you can see from starting this Native Nations, having 6 more kids show up than you thought would even show up. So it's fnx.org where it'll be streaming, I guess, and so check that out. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about your major league career, because I did look into it a little bit. And what I found interesting is that you didn't want to be a pitcher.
I did not. No, I actually asked for my release to be a hitter, and I got laughed at. I actually signed under the pretenses that I was going to hit first, and if that didn't work, then I would pitch. And when I showed up, they thought I was crazy. And I said, well, my scout said that I was a hitter. Who's your scout? And they'd never heard it. Like I didn't understand that as a 19-year-old kid, that player development staff has no clue who amateur scouts are. It just doesn't happen that way. So yeah, I kind of rocked the boat several times about wanting to hit, and ultimately, I just kept getting an opportunity as a pitcher, and I didn't want to miss out on the whole seasons. I mean, we don't have enough time to kind of get into that whole story. It's a great story, though. It really is, for some of the kids that, just don't have a bright future in front of them. I mean, one of the stories with the Pirates, I signed for $1 in their minor league system. And at the time, they were supposed to give me 25% of my contract, which was 25 cents. A whole bunch of stuff in between. I became a free agent with the Pirates, and at home, I have a 25-cent signing bonus for a contract from the Pirate. I mean, it's just, there's just, it goes on and on and on. So I think the Avocado-holic is getting on the podcast now. This is my beautiful wife, Autumn. She will talk a little bit about your health and wellness question that you had asked about earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just curious because I looked up the website and I saw home plates, and I'm like, well, that's a really great name for a nutritional, baseball oriented nutrition
Right?
program. And so I just was wondering, like, could you talk about, how you used nutrition to fuel athletes, and is there a different way you go about this than, like, I grew up with the food pyramid, which has now been completely thrown away. Nobody does that anymore. Yeah, I believe sugar was on the bottom,
Yeah.
of the food. Yeah. So
Well, home plates was probably the easiest thing to make up. I was just like, oh, home plate, there you go. But yes, there is a very different way we go about basically feeding our kids. We just got done making a 3-week program for them, preparing them for this tournament. So we did a week before, the week of the tournament, and 2 special days in that week that they will be playing, because nutrition is going to change those 2 days. And then they have a recovery week. How do they come down, and what do they feed the body to recover from that stress? So yes, we are preparing them. Basically, the focus is mostly hydration, being that it's so hot, but we're giving them more carbs, telling them how to stay away from fatty foods, because if you slow your digestion, you slow your performance, because nobody wants to perform or do anything when they feel heavy, when they feel bloated. So we have looked at what foods and the way we can feed them to prevent that, to keep them digesting, to keep them moving, to keep them hydrated. And then we hit them with the recovery. How do we feed the body to, no matter how much water they're drinking, they're probably going to be dehydrated from traveling back home. We need to repair that muscle, but we need to repair their minds too. So we're giving them all the food, but we're also giving them little tips on mental health. Maybe journal, maybe do some visualization. It's a really cool program that is targeted for the athletes, and was just our launch, but we're going to go even further and then possibly target the parents. And the parents is actually in my 3-week program. It talks to the parents. This is, hey parents, this is, first of all, thank you for feeding your athletes and thinking of their health. Here's some tips. Here's some cheat codes. Here's some things to do. Even some supplements. I can go really heavy on the supplements, but I kept it light for them. But afterwards, my main focus for home plates is to really target those parents, because they're the ones that I'm going to lean on to keep these athletes fed and to do the things they need at home. And plus, I want the parents healthy. Healthy parents, healthy life, healthy kids, everything. So I want that.
We're actually going to have a event tomorrow with a little bit of skills session on the front end, and on the back end, we're going to open it up for question and answer. And part of that's going to be the health portion, mental, recruiting. She talked about cheat codes, some of the stuff that we did as a player and how she kept me healthy are also kind of our secret sauce, I would like to say. Some of the stuff that I pride myself on being available throughout my career and racking up the innings out of the bullpen. And that was what made me valuable and kept me around the game, because I definitely wasn't good enough to be up there. I just had something a little bit different than other people did. And a lot of that was because of what Autumn is able to implement at home.
I think you were definitely good enough to be there. I know a little bit of your story and some of the great moments that you had, but I am so fascinated, and I love this idea of taking a whole family, whole community, whole person approach, because there are so many inequities in our system that are built in that make it hard for athletes to thrive in a new environment, or for students to thrive in a new environment. And I'm just curious, what informs your all's motivation for that whole community approach? And how do you make sure that it's aligned with the people that you serve, the students you're working with, the athletes you're working with?
You want to take that one?
From the health part of it, and what I've talked with a lot of leaders that we've sat down and talked to, the one way that I want to do that is I want to sit down with different people in their community, whether it be parents or the leaders, or just your elder. For me, I do very bio-individual. So even though this program is set for all the athletes at once, in my regular practice, bio-individual. Your disease is not my disease, even though it has the same name. Our body responds completely different. So I want to roundtable with the community to know, what is your community concerns? What are your health concerns? Because each community is different. And even though they have, again, the same name to a disease, they may be affected differently. Some may have access to a better grocery store, while some are more in a food desert. How do I combat that? So I need to sit down and listen. I can't just say, oh, let's work on diabetes. I want to know, what are some of those root causes? Why are we getting this? What kind of area do you live in versus the other area? And just kind of go from there.
And I would say, from my perspective, you talk about like a superhero's ability, right? Some can see through walls, some have laser beams. But to me, the best ability is availability, right? And I was blessed with a career in the major leagues. I did things a little bit different. I mean, we did things very different when it came to health and what we didn't eat and what we did eat, and the massage, the modalities, the supplements. And so my availability to share those experiences and share those knowledges with these kids, whether it comes to playing in front of 50,000 people or 5,000 or being away from home, like recreating those scenarios is what's going to give those kids that character building. Like, we're not here to build big leaguers, right? If they pop out, that's great. But we're here to build people that sport teaches these certain disciplines and teammates. There's a whole bunch of different personal growth that happens with sports. And I'm just here I can only give what I know, right? And so we try to surround ourselves with other great people that can fill in the blanks for all of us.
Yeah.
Autumn, I did not mean to cut you off. Please go ahead.
You didn't. No. I was saying, yeah, I was agreeing. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Along those lines, I actually wanted to transition to a question I was dying to ask DJ, because I think the most fascinating part of your story for me is being a successful Rule 5 pick. But you came from like high A to the majors, and you made that work. And I mean, for our listeners who don't know, like, when you get picked in the Rule 5 draft, you have to stay on the big league roster all year, period, the end. That's a huge opportunity. Can you talk a little bit about the mentality you needed for that, and how you use that to inform the opportunities that the kiddos you work with get?
Hey, hats off to you for knowing.
Great question.
Yes, that's probably one of the best questions I've ever had. And honestly, I have a coach that I had, Blaine Beatty. He's with the Colorado Rockies, and he still tells that story, because it was one out of, I was quitting baseball that year. I was done. I couldn't do any better. I did it for 4 years in a row. Nothing was happening. I got to go join the workforce. Thank God for the Rule 5 draft. And I told this story the other day. I was playing at the Field of Dreams at my buddy in Kansas when I was at the Royal Days. He has a really cool remake of the cornfield. And literally, one of my stories is kind of to your point. Edgar Martinez was one of my favorite hitters ever, right? I just love the guy. Professional hitter, hand-eye, like, amazing. When I was in A-ball the year before I got Rule 5, or the year of Rule 5, I had Nintendo numbers. Like, nobody sniffed my slider. It was just really good year. And I got Edgar Martinez to like a 1-2 count. I'm going to throw the slider off the plate 3 inches. I'm going to come back inside and get him out. Like, perfect. And as soon as it left my hand, I knew it was exactly where I wanted to be. I didn't hang it. It didn't back up. It wasn't down the middle. And it was 3 inches off the plate, down and away, where he couldn't do anything with it. He hit a laser right back at me. And I went to close. By the time I closed my glove, I had already felt my jersey, like it nicked my jersey. And I never wore a cup before this, because I was always fast enough, and I was like quick enough, and I was like a Puma, right? I went from being a 23, 24-year-old in A-ball playing against major leaguers that have been playing for 20 years. He's seen a million sliders better than mine. And there was physically nothing I can do to catch that ball. And if it was like 2 feet over and a foot down, it would have been lights out. Like, so I learned how to wear a cup after my first major league hitter did that to me. But yeah, like that's a very rare occurrence where you go from A-ball to the big leagues. You're playing with college guys with some strength to them and some good players, to men who are Hall of Famers and have been like, they impact the ball a lot different than these guys in A-ball do. You go from pitching in front of 300 to 400 guys to 40,000 people overnight. Like, and so thank God I never had an issue with that kind of pressure and playing under, like, I don't give a crap what anybody thinks. Like, it doesn't bother me. And I think that's truly a skill set that never gets taught. And so when I talk to you guys about, like, we can do things different here, right? Like, I'm putting chrome on a wheel. So our elite players, guess what? They're going to go sing the national anthem in front of everybody because they don't like to do that. That's embarrassing. But you know what? If you want to be a big leaguer, you're going to have to perform when you don't feel comfortable in front of people. So there's certain skill sets that I think I learned that other guys that took different routes and had a lot more time to develop with appropriate like skills against them. I didn't have to. I just had to learn, recreate myself, be creative, like just had to figure it out on the fly. So thank you for that question. I mean, I can go on and on with that, but that was really good question that you got there.
Oh, well, thank you for the answer. I mean, I think about that a lot because, so I mentioned I work in education and I was an old debater. Debate doesn't have a major leagues. There is no like, you go to the big leagues or anything like that. But I had a kind of similar moment where I was watching some friends of mine get absolutely destroyed in a debate round. And I looked at my partner and I was like, even if we're totally outmatched someday, we're not doing that. Like, I don't know what we're going to do. We're not going to get destroyed like that. And I feel like that experience is something you can translate to the kids that you work with, right? That like, you can walk in and you can show up and you can play. Mm-hmm. You've got something in that moment. And I think that that's probably really important for the work that you do now. And I really wanted to hear more about it. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah. It's just passing on that internal confidence, whether you believe it or not. You got to learn how to be confident, and that, there's that cycle of confidence and success. But if you can identify, you don't have to have success immediately. If we work on these certain things, you will have success eventually, and your confidence. Like, so whatever, you always got to give a straw to grasp for it, right? Like, right. And you got to explain it and understand why. They have to understand why it works that way. And so that's part of our teachings there. Yeah.
We have a question in the chat here, and that's from Little Yumper asks, do you have a merch shop? I got to pick up DJ's hat. So you want to sell your hat to him, DJ? I'm sure.
Yeah. So actually it's funny you said that. That is what we're going to be doing the next 2 days here at Abode and at my buddy Anthony. He donated his house up here in Scottsdale that we're all hanging out at. But one of our web designer is actually going to be making that live here in the next few days. She's a little bit under the weather right now, so unfortunately it's not live yet. But yes, come back to our website. We'll be having the ability to get merch and shirts and everything else. So.
I'll make sure I share that with our whole group. But we're actually we're going to have Levante Stewart on shortly from the Lost Boys, and we're selling a shirt as well to try to raise money. It's a great thing, and people have always been supportive from our group. So I know that they'll pick up your shirt too, and then or your hat as well. And then Margaret, you have the Native Nations with the 2 7s for the tees. Could you tell me about that logo? And you were number 7, I take it. That's not a pitcher number. Did you wear number 7 on the diamond?
Right? So yeah, I actually, after my White Sox days where I was assigned a number, I was a call up or whatever, I got assigned a number. In the major leagues, there's some funny like number system. You got time and whatever, you can buy a number or whatever. But when I went to the Pirates as a free agent, before we started camp, the day before we started camp, I've asked my wife, hey, what number should I be? And she was always 7 in college and high school. She's like, be number 7. I'm like, everybody has 7, and I'm too cheap to buy somebody a Rolex to be number 7. Look at her in the back. She likes to hear this. And I'm in the closet, and I'm like, that's just not going to happen, right? She's like, well, then be 77. I'm like, that's dumb. Why would I be an offensive lineman number? Like, nobody's 77 in baseball. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Well, then don't ask me then, right? And I'm like, okay, well, I got all spring training to figure out what number I want to be. I used to be 21 in high school and college, but obviously I'm not going to be 21 in Pittsburgh. Like, it's just not going to happen with Clemente there. And so, no kidding, out of all the numbers in spring training, 1 through 00, like 100 numbers here, 0 to 00, in my locker was hanging 77 when I walked in there. And I'm like, wow, she told me which one to be. I'm a major league, call it veteran at the time. I should have never been handed 77. That's usually for call-ups. But the club is like, I'm just going to give you a number until you figure it out and let me know, and we'll change it whenever you're ready. And so it stuck with me. I'm like, it must be. And so moving on to Native Nations in the 7s, it's not necessarily for DJ, just the way it worked out. It was really interesting. Our board president, Levi Esquera, I had showed him the name and how it worked and all that. And he says, DJ, have you ever heard of 7 generational thinking? And so maybe I hope a majority of your listeners have heard of that, or viewers. But what it is, in a lot of indigenous and native cultures, there's this 7 generational theme. The large majority are 7 generations in the future. Some have 3 generations in the past, the current, and the future. But anyways, there's 7 generations that they talk about. So all the decisions you make now, you should make out of the honor and the respect and the benefit for the generations to come, 7 generations to come. And so if we're building a dam there, or we're knocking down a tree there, or whatever we decide to do, is it honoring those 7 generations in the future? Is it putting them in a better place or a worse place? And I think the world would be a much better place if we all live by that 7 generational thinking. So that's where the Red Sevens come into play for Native nations and all of our Native athletes and indigenous friends around the world. It's a very common number and a thought process that happens.
It's a beautiful sentiment, and you run a beautiful organization, and I wish you all the best of luck this weekend with your huge tournament. I mean, go check out the website. It is Native Nations. The T's are 7s, though, because we're thinking 7 generations in the future. At least we all should be, because I agree with you that this would be a better world if we thought that way. And I just really appreciate you both being here, and I'd love to catch up with you in the future on this and hang out. Next time I get down to Cubs spring training, I'd love to meet you as well, and maybe catch a game at Salt River Fields. So
love to have you.
I'm going to share this in the chat here, and we'll make sure that I'm going to share it on all my social medias too. And Autumn, nice to meet you. Margaret, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Sarah. You guys are the best. Thank you. And thank you for welcoming
look at this. Bernie Barron just said, I just donated to Native Nations.
Oh, Bernie. Thank you, Bernie.
Thank you, Bernie.
Yeah, one quick question. When can we cheer you all on in Branson? Because I'm gonna go big. I'm going big on this on social. Like,
You want to roll down with me in the Jeep Cherokee?
Come on
if the
down.
dates work,
So,
yes.
Field
As well,
trip.
yes.
We'll
I will totally go hang out in
Let's
Branson.
bring
Are you kidding?
Ball Hawk Corner to Branson.
Yeah.
We'll be reporting August 5th, media shots, uniforms, August 6th, August 7th, I believe, is our first game.
All right.
Well, thanks
Danny,
for being
Sarah,
here.
thank you for having us. Bleacher Bunch. Thanks. It's been fun being on board, and I appreciate your guys' help and just sharing our story with you guys. Thank you for that.
Well, thanks for being here. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will be with Levante from the Lost Boys, and he'll tell you all about that amazing organization and what we're doing for Ranter Fest coming up on August 2nd. Thanks for being here, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
The Bleacher Bunch brings you great shows like Sun Ranto, Cubs PS Plus, Bricks Behind the Ivy, Cuppa Cubby Blue, and Baseball Rabbit Hole. But you could be getting so much more when you subscribe to our Patreon page for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/BleacherBunch. Get access to our exclusive daily show Cubs Pod, where we recap every single game. Plus, be the first to hear Cubs music, get early access to events, and receive an invitation to join our Discord Cubs community, where fans just like you show up every day to rant and rave about our beloved boys in blue. Most importantly, 10% of your Patreon pledge will go directly to help the Lost Boys Youth Baseball program. So join us. There are perks at every level, like the Renter Calendar, absolutely free, and name recognition for you or your business. We are independent Cubs podcasters, and we need your support. Otherwise, we'll quit. Seriously, we'll all quit. Some of us might even die from your lack of support. In fact, the cutest little puppy you've ever seen will die if you don't support the Bleacher Bunch at patreon.com/BleacherBunch. We promise to spend all the Patreon money on tickets and beer and all the dung crap we have to buy just to keep our podcast rolling. So give us your money and we'll waste it far better than you will. Patreon.com/BleacherBunch. Free trials are available, but don't do a free trial. Just join, okay? Okay. Patreon.com/BleacherBunch.
In the clutch. Buy t-shirts from In the Clutch. Take it from the Bleacher Bunch. You'll love the shirts from In the Clutch.
In the Clutch shirts are comfortable, stylish, and guaranteed to get you laid. Plus, they're proud sponsors of the Bleacher Bunch. Use promo code Bleacher Bunch for 10% off your purchase.
Nice to feel and soft to touch. That's why you will get laid so much. Wearing a shirt from In the Clutch. And you can thank the Bleacher Bunch. In the Clutch, in the Clutch. Buy t-shirts from In the Clutch. Remember the code Bleacher Bunch. Save 10% at In the Clutch. In the Clutch. In the Clutch.
In the Clutch shirts actually not really guaranteed to get you laid.
That was awesome. It's been a great week of baseball and a great week of lots of things, but like that just truly just like that lit me up for the end of the week. I am, and I just, that was awesome.
Baseball is life and life is baseball. So I just played it In the Clutch commercial and I've got great news to report. And that little by little, we're unleashing some of the Ranter Fest merch that's coming out here. And the shirt is now available. There it is at In the Clutch. I just dropped the link in the chat. It is the Ranter Fest 2025. And as you can see, Bleacher Jeff is Jesus in the middle of. We got Bleacher Jeff as Jesus. Poncho Boy's in this.
Not Jesus.
I know. Well, that's a joke shirt. It's a joke shirt. And so get them while they're hot. They are available right now. They are $30, and the proceeds will go from In the Clutch to the Lost Boys. Every dime that In the Clutch donates is from your pocket, and you get this shirt. So, and we got hats too. The hats are coming. Still working on the hats. And I would like to now introduce the beneficiary and the president of the Lost Boys, who we are benefiting at Ranter Fest on August 2nd this year. My good friend, even though he's a Sox fan, Levante.
We're just doing all the Sox stuff today. It's like White Sox Palooza over here.
You're muted, Levante. I'll warn you at that first.
There we go.
There you go. How are you, first of all? How's it going?
I am even better seeing you and Sarah and seeing those commercials, man. I was backstage, and like Sarah said, that just like lit me up for the rest of the week. I'm like, Danny and the group, they got really cool commercials now. This is like, everything is awesome. Extra awesome.
I got to ask you, I want to see if you picked up on this because you're a native Chicagoan. That second In the Clutch song, do you know what I was inspired by to write it like that, in that way? What famous Chicago old commercial was I inspired by? Let's see if people get it in the chat. Because it's very specific. As soon as I sing it, it'll click. Maybe it doesn't sound enough like it because I did a bad job, but it's do you know?
No, I'm trying to think. I'm leaning towards one of those auto wreck commercials.
Moon oink, moo,
oh.
moon oink.
Okay,
baby.
Yeah.
Dude,
I was going through that In the Clutch. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. Moon oink, moon oink.
I do not remember which show it was on. I kind of just have MLB Network on in the background some days, and I'm just doing my stuff. There was an In the Clutch shout out on like MLB Now or one of those shows earlier this week. And I truly had this moment where I was like, wait a second. I rewound it. I was like, I know those guys. I know the In the Clutch guys.
So Levante, we're doing this thing because it's the All-Star break and there were no games to talk about. So I figured I heard about DJ's group with the Native Nations, and it reminded me a lot of what the Lost Boys do, and using baseball for socio-emotional learning for kids and teaching them about life while teaching them about the game. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about Lost Boys mission statement and how you, what your actual association with the Cubs is at this point, and the White Sox too. Well, just tell me about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. But first, man, amazing organization. Shout out DJ and what his group is doing. I caught a bit of it, and you shared some information with me prior to and got a chance to read up on them. So it's amazing, especially when you see ex-pros, right, really come back because they're deep in it. They've gone really far. And so to see them come back and bring that love and that concentration on a particular group and make sure they are included in our pastime, just kudos to that organization. Man, yeah, we're up to the same stuff. So, I mean, most of the ranters know us by now, but just recapping, we're a sports-based youth development organization. So unique and different from travel ball and yet community league. It's a little bit deeper, so it kind of ties in more what I like to call professional services in terms of youth development and after school. So the sport is, of course, is like the hook and getting them in there, and then what you learn about them is a plethora of stuff. And so we've been able to develop a little bit of a smorgasbord of services thanks to partnership. And, I love our friendship because, I'm not just on here talking some nonprofit fluff, because Danny has literally come down in winter programming and done music sessions to connect with you. So using music as a healing therapy and Danny giving them platforms to express themselves. So I'll never forget coming into those sessions and they're like, Rocket's back there making raps with the kids, but it's like really meaningful because he's pulling me to the side and we're talking about it. He's analyzing it and breaking it down because this guy knows music. I don't know crap about music, right? And I'm listening to Danny. And so I'm learning about my own kids, or I'm validating things I already know based on something Rocket is saying. And so I'm like, now I know what I was thinking was right because Danny's just been doing this with him for a few weeks and he sees this. And so it matches what I see. And so Danny thinks, hey, we should do this with this kid through here. I can do this with him and bring this out a little bit more. And so that's what we are. We give these spaces for creativity. And we like to bring in various partners because we don't claim to be, we can't do it all, right? And so it's like giving them a taste of everything. Chicago is an amazing place. And so like we've got a new partnership with Jay, our guy,
the artist, right?
No. It's soccer player.
Okay.
He's gonna kill me. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna get his name right. I got a little excited and
well, you know what you said reminded me of something that Pete Crow Armstrong just said during the game. They had him mic'd up, and I'm gonna totally paraphrase what he said, but they asked him about kids wanting to emulate him to try to be in the major leagues. And he said, what would you say to a kid? He said, I would say to a kid to find the thing about you that you're the best at and do that thing to the best of your abilities and not try to emulate anybody and be yourself to the extreme. And so what I love about your program is I remember when we first met, you had brought the kids to bring to like down to a shipbuilder place. Like the kids learned how to sail and build ships. Like that's something they would have never have seen if you didn't bring them. We all went to the Negro League Baseball Museum in Kansas City together.
Yes, we enjoyed it.
And the Jazz Museum, and the kids got to go to, well, oh my God, those kids got about 50 baseballs from, we had, who was playing center field that day for the White Sox? Was it Billy? It was Billy Hamilton was out there throwing us baseballs. The whole game, there was a couple home runs. Jorge Soler, I believe, was on the Royals. He was throwing us stuff.
Yeah.
Those kids had those players eaten out of their hands. And so you brought them all there, gave them that experience of going on a bus, traveling all to Kansas City. You give kids things that they might not have had an opportunity to do. And it's not particular. And you're going with the flow in many respects, which whatever opportunities. When Jason Hayward was in town, when Stroh was in town, Marcus Stroman came to the Lost Boys. So it's like, you're always kind of doing something different by what is you're capable of achieving in that moment. It's just very cool. Which is why
I hope the Sox are smart enough to grab Lucas. Oh, that would be amazing.
Well, let me ask you about it. Just a real quick White Sox question is like,
well, who's the Cubs get a chance to grab him?
Well, Shane Smith was your lone all-star this year. Is that true? Now, be honest. Had you heard of him before the All-Star game?
Now, listen. Yeah.
What?
Here's why. He's probably
I had not.
Almost, besides Robert, he's the probably almost the only White Sox player I know anymore. I like you all have almost flipped me totally Cub fan, right? I probably spend more time at Wrigley than I do literally on 35th Street, which ain't too far from where I do everything. So yeah. I know the 108 group gonna hear it, but listen, man, it's hard to really kind of Sox still don't. To me, they're not there with their fan base and just locking in and making the right picks and bringing excitement to that team. But
I gotta say though,
Smith,
because
I knew about his sister from Twitter. That's how I learned about him.
I
All
was
right.
I was just at a Sox game, and Shane Smith, good, fine,
Yes.
understand him as the pick for the White Sox. The guy I was super like impressed with is this closer y'all have, Grant Taylor. He is throwing like 99 with movement, and that is
Yeah.
filthy and unhittable. And I was just like, Grant Taylor, y'all. Like, I truly had not heard of this guy before I got to the park, and we had amazing seats that day. And I was just like, this is a unbelievable guy that people are sleeping on. So I think y'all have a closer there in Grant Taylor.
We got Miguel Esparza in the chat, and he says they let him go to the game so that he could hit Eugenio Suarez. You know, when that happened,
I was so
I
mad.
was like, no, that's our third baseman. We need him on the team.
I was like, that is the Cubs' best trade candidate. What are we doing? Well,
Yeah,
and
man.
I was nervous about it because they hit him in the pinky, and he was supposed to be in the swing off. The swing off was supposed to be Eugenio Suarez, Kyle Schwarber, and Pete Alonso, which, by the way, that is a crush of a swing off right there. And then they subbed in Kyle Stowers instead, and I was like, oh my God, we're on Eugenio Suarez watch.
Mhm. Yeah, but I mean,
So-
I think it's a bigger deal, right? It is baseball. He hit a guy. I don't think
But he's in the
Train's
All-Star
been
game. He's not
pretty
really trying to hit it. Can you imagine
Yeah.
somebody? I mean, back in the day, you've got like Pete Rose like breaking a man's leg, so he never played the game again in the All-Star
Right.
game, like, in a game that did not matter. These days, half the guys were on the plane home by the seventh inning.
Yeah,
You
man,
know?
his nerves probably was running through him. I mean, he just got here, right? Like, and he's already here, like All-Star
Mhm.
game. I mean, I
He's
can't
not.
imagine.
These days, they're just trying not to get hurt. Like they're
Yeah.
pulling up short on balls. Nobody's trying to hit anybody. But can you imagine if like Suarez charged the mound like in the All-Star game? Like, be like, what is
Well,
wrong with you?
Might have added
That's
a little bit of value. America like their shock value.
Exactly. I think
Little
more
role
people.
playing.
It was a viewed All-Star game too. I guess it got more 8 point something million viewers or so at one
And
point.
shamedly, I have to admit, I missed every part of it.
I listened on the radio because Doug Glanville was calling the game on the radio with some other guy, but I love listening to Doug because he was on Marquee for years. I got to work with him at NBC, and so him and I became friends there. And we did the 2020 John Baker Day talks with you and him and. So anyway, thoughtful guy. So anytime I can listen to Doug, I'll listen to that as opposed to, and plus I don't even have a TV right now. I gave it to my friend Bob.
Why did you miss the All-Star game, Levante? What was going on?
Like it's getting towards the end of the summer season, so we're running around game after game after game. So we're running back and forth across the field. And this year is really amazing. I've been talking about it a little bit more on Twitter. His mama named him Cassius. I'm gonna call him Cassius. It's Twitter. I'm not gonna call it X. On Twitter, I love kind of talking about this year. My new dynamic is coaching with my oldest son, who junior is. He'll be 20 at the end of towards the end of the year, going into a second year of college.
That's hard to
So
believe.
he's coaching he's coaching a 12U boys team, and I'm coaching a 12U boys team. I just won't stop coaching, right? I do my CEO stuff on one side, and then I'm still getting on the field on the other side of it. So I still love coaching. So that's been an amazing dynamic for me personally this year, is kind of coaching with my son. So helping transport his team sometime because he's like breathing down my neck. We got to get his license so he can drive for himself. And I need to hurry up and do it because he's irritating the hell out of me. And I know all of the viewers that have had teenage children agree. Where's my main man, Bill Sugars at? I know he probably gets it though. I got to help this kid get a license. High school baseball, he couldn't do driver's ed, so we're like, all right, let's do it now.
City kids, they in the suburbs where I grew up, they taught us in school. You had the option to take it because you had to drive everywhere in the suburbs, and they don't offer it at the city schools because
he's Catholic league. They had it, but it was like baseball coaches like, you going to driver's ed or you coming to practice? Dude, I want to play. I'm coming to practice. Like those kids try not to miss a single practice, and so he was one that was committed like that. So,
we're getting junior. Now, how about your youngest son?
So
now he's already what 3, 4? Is he swinging a bat yet?
Man, King Carter's 5. He'll be 6 at the end of the year. Yeah, and that's Sarah saw him, so he likes Sarah.
I love him.
I think that was his first trip, Sarah, to Wrigley. So it had to be a few years ago.
Yeah, probably 2021, 22.
Yeah, he's a menace. He's 5 years old, and he loves baseball. I've been posting that on Twitter as well, right? Talking about him kind of getting into T-ball now, and so I'm excited. It's another one that's kind of falling in love with him, and he's getting a chance. Rocket, you saw in the last couple of games we came out. I think I've had him with us when we've hung out and called a game. So yeah, man, it's great having your family involved.
Well, you're going to turn him into a Cubs fan, which, if you ask me, that's kind of child abuse. I'm going to let my nephew Hawk decide. I'm going to bring him to both ballparks, and I know a lot of Cub fans disagree with that.
No, man, my oldest son is a Cubs fan, dude. You know that. We celebrated your championship. He had me out there. We was downtown.
Well, and at the risk of causing a fight and a riot amongst our commenters, and I apologize, I'm getting over a cold, so I get these like random coughing fits. So if I go on mute, I'm just coughing for a minute. But the Hawk is a crosstown name. Because on the north side, that's an Andre Dawson reference, and on the south side, that's a Hawk Harrelson reference.
Well, then he cannot be a Sox fan. Because like Hawk Harrelson is really my broadcaster nemesis, and I think about this sometimes because you grow up liking what you like, and you listen to the guy you like. Like I love Harry Carey. Grew up with him, and he's the reason I'm a Cub fan. But I would imagine if I was a South Sider and I grew up a Sox fan, that I would think everything Hawk Harrelson did was great.
Yes.
And he was such a homer, and he was always complaining about it. And I would have, if I was now to a Cub fan, it's annoying as hell. You're like, oh, this homer, this guy's such a freaking, he thinks every call that goes against the Sox is just, some conspiracy against them. Like, but I suppose if you're a fan of the team, you're like, oh yeah, that's my guy.
Man, Hard is loyal to the soil, baby.
Yeah, that's your guy. Like it's one of the reasons I love when Rick Sutcliffe is in the booth.
Me too.
Sut is such a homer. Like everything. every
Santo.
Every call that's like a centimeter off, Sut is furious. Like he is. Oh, I can't believe that happened. That was, he's such a homer, and we need those guys. We need our homers.
So I did want to talk just a second about what we're going to be doing at Ranterfest this year. So it's going to be August 2nd. We're going to be doing and every single ticket that we sell, the money goes straight to the Lost Boys. If you can't come, just give them money on their site. There's a place you can donate. I think it's just lostboys.org/donate or something like that. And just give money if you can't come, because the t-shirts are going to go. We're going to do some raffles of some prizes. We're even raffling off the original artwork that Matt Kammerer drew for the Ranterfest logo, and all the artists, all the musicians. Miguel Esparza is going to sing. Bleacher Bum Band. Joe Kilgallen's going to perform. And so there's in two parts. We got the fun kind of party part at Almost Home in the morning before the game, and then after the game, we're going over to Almost Home for a little rock and roll and some comedy. And so it's going to be an all-day affair. If you don't have tickets to the game, that's fine. We're hanging out watching the game. I'll be moving speakers around and setting up microphones. But either way, it's going to be a fun hang. It's only $25 to come. And as I said, every single dime is going to go to Lost Boys in our annual donation. And Levante, I got to tell you, I believe it was, I can't take it off my wall because it's mounted. But when you gave me an award a couple years ago, called the Game Changer of the Year Award, and it sits in a place of prominence right above my keyboard so that I can see it when I'm writing music, because it inspires me, to keep on going, because it's just like, if you can keep on going and all the families that you serve can keep on going, then I can keep on going and keep my work. It's an inspirational award, and I thank you for it to this day. And we're going to be giving out the Rancher of the Year award, which nobody knows who that is but me. Oh, actually, one other guy, Bill Sugas, knows, because he is helping me present the award because he won it last year.
Yes.
He didn't do anything this year, so he lost his award. Otherwise, he might have,
he lost his title. Yeah. That's all right, Bill. You went down swinging, baby.
Not everything is zero sum. Like, awards can be cumulative. You can just win them, and then somebody else wins them, and then we all have awards.
Well, I usually don't win them. Like, I'm always in the Waddle and Sylvie contest with the best song year after year after year. And there's like 10 grand on the line worth of Jewel groceries, all these gift certificates to places that I don't shop anyway, but still I could give them away as gifts or prizes. And there's 10 grand on the line. I'm sitting there with the best song every single year, and then they don't let me win. Every single year they do not pick me. And it's because they're like, oh, he's a professional and he does it. And I'm like, dude, I'm a professional musician. I need the 10 grand. Badly. So anyway,
keep dropping it out.
But I know Levante, Lost Boys needs the 10 grand more than I do. So if you got 10 grand laying around, you should drop it on Lost Boys, not on Waddle and Sylvie's parody Christmas contest.
Yeah, and we appreciate it, man, because it's we're running into some really uncertain times for nonprofits right now. A lot of changes and funding, especially when you're leaning into government, because a lot of that COVID money is leaving. So there was a significant investment in the country in all kinds of places. There's flooding, and it allowed everybody to grow, and so sustaining ourselves at that level of growth it's tough now, right? We've got 3 facilities now. We got that main center, then we got 2 little offshoot facilities, one for the primary youth, where inside there ages 4 to 6. So my youngest son, King Carter, and all of the little T-ballers have their own building, their own space, wall-to-wall turf. They got their own field inside, and snacks and desks. It's like a daycare and baseball combined. And so you'll come in and they're running bases and singing, and everything is built around what's called play-based learning. So everything they're learning, what they'll start learning in school, because I'm the son of a teacher. So it's like you got to learn. Everything you do is got to be some learning involved. I'm just kind of irritably like that. And so we're happy, and you can kind of see the results of that stuff. So trying to keep it where it is. We greatly appreciate you all and your friendship, your continued support, man. I need to make a new award, and you need to be like the game changer of the decade, because
give it to Bill.
After you got that award. To Sarah's point of things being cumulative, you just kept putting up stats, brother. You just keep coming back.
Well,
even if we want to get rid of you, I don't think you go anywhere. Like Danny Ryan would probably still show up and be like, "Yeah, fucking go Cubs."
Well, people don't realize that when you do grow, like Lost Boys has grown, and I've watched this grow over the last few years, that then to sustaining that growth is difficult, because you hire people and then you have to pay those people to come in, and you have to pay for facilities and the electric and all that stuff. And so it adds up. And I just had a meeting with my former alderperson Clay. I don't know if you're familiar with Angela Clay, but she had a meeting with me and some other housing advocates. And we were talking about suggestions that we had to help with housing. And she's like, I know we would love to do all this stuff. These are all the ideas that we want to implement, me and the other progressive alders of our caucus. And we can't do any of it because all the money is going to the police. And that's what she said. Like all the city funds, they're cut education, cut the food, cut community programs, cut this, and what it goes is to the pensions and all this other garbage. So like everybody's
pensions are not garbage, to be
not
clear.
garbage, but like
I hear you on the police part of this. Like pensions go to teachers and people too.
I mean, but whose pension? Not the teacher. Teachers put in whatever. I don't want to get into the weeds on this.
Yeah, this is not a policy.
It's a family show.
Protect your teachers' pensions, y'all.
No. I'm a big believer in pensions. I got no issue with pensions. I'm sorry I said it, but I will say that we are not spending the money on the things we should be spending the money on, and that is these youth-based programs, like you said. Having a place for kids to play. I can put it even more simply when our friend Fitzy from the Bleachers, he donated a bunch of stuff last year for Ranter Fest. He wants to donate a bunch of stuff this year, and he said, he goes, it's a great cause. He goes, because I know the way Fitzy grew up, and he goes, I know there's certain people that helped me through my life that were adults. He goes, and I love the Lost Boys because they're keeping the kids, giving them somewhere to go after school, before school, having someone to call, a sense of community. And I think that's what he saw from the organization, even with a glimpse of it. Yeah. And that's what spoke to him, that it was that he would have loved to have a place like that to go as a kid himself. So,
we appreciate it. And we're Danny, you know me, man, I always want to keep growing it and doing more. And that's the future fan base, Cubs and Sox, right? Because when I'm looking at these children, they like both. And, some like this team, some like that team, or, nobody's into a team yet. But, hey, it's the Chicago way. You got to pick a side, kid. Pick a team. Let's go. No half and half jersey. You can be a Sox fan and you can be a closet Cubs fan like me. But, hey, you can't deny it, man. The 80s, you turn on WGN, really wasn't no cable yet. I'm that old. I go back where it was the knob TV, and we only had a couple of channels, and 32 was big, and Channel 9. And every Sunday, it was either that or watching Westerns, and I didn't want to watch John Wayne Westerns, so I watched the Cubs, and I got to see Andre Dawson and Sean Dunston and Ryan Sandberg and Sutcliffe, and I got to love the Cubs from a distance, and I didn't really get to experience Wrigley. And it's crazy, it's sad that I didn't experience it until adulthood. And so I recommend it for every Southsider, just like I would everybody that goes to Wrigleyville, come down to enjoy, what the Sox have going on. I still call it Comiskey.
We all do. I
call it Sox Park because I refuse to call it whatever they're calling it now. But I have to say, so like I said, I was just there. The Pope mural is legit.
Yeah.
The Pope mural is one of the coolest things
I've ever seen. Yeah.
They were quick on the draw there, man. They were like, the Pope was at the World Series and we are going to commemorate it in a mural, and it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Now that's the hype we got going on right now with the Pope. And then, really sad thing is Big Bobby Jinks, but watching the fans and the former players come together. And I took the kids to a game about maybe 2 weeks ago. I think it was the Blue Jays against the Blue Jays. We lost, but the memorial was set up out front of one of the statues. And so explaining to the kids that really weren't familiar with that World Series team who Big Bad Bobby Jinks was. And my oldest son was born that year. So that's 2005. Like Kanye said, you can't tell me nothing. That was my year, right? My team won the World Series, coached by my baseball idol, which is Ozzie Guillen, which another day for you. I got a story of how I was sitting in his crib one morning while he's in the robe speaking Spanish to his wife and grandkids and Ozzy and Ozzy Jr. And I'm like, this is not real. I am really not sitting in my baseball idol's crib while they all chilling in their robes, and he cooking, his wife is cooking breakfast and the grandkids. And I'm like, who gets to do this?
I love Ozzie Guillen, man. Like I know that's probably anathema for a Cubs fan to say, but I grew up in Utah. Like I don't have any of this like Cubs Sox. Like that's not a rivalry to me. Like
It's
the rival was
insane.
the Cardinals. Like the Sox were the like random interleague games we played that didn't count at the start of the season. And I love the South Side. I always go say hi to my friends in the 108. I always make sure to experience the South Side. The food is great. The elotes is the best ballpark food in America. The White Sox understand that when you get a beer, you get lime and salt with it. And they had me at lime and salt for my beer. Like I was just like, thank you for understanding that. And God bless you, because nobody on the North Side understands this. I have to bring my own salt in my purse.
And then you got a whole dope kids section. So if you bring in kids, like our kids went and got lost for like 3 or 4 innings of the entire game. I thought we was gonna have to put a SOS out for like one last kid, and then he popped up right on time. And I gave him the look, because now I think I'm getting ready to get past the unk phase, right? So there's these levels, and I'm almost headed towards OG phase, right? Because I'll be 50 this year, but I just give them a look and like, where you been, kid? But they get to experience that over there. So I like that the Sox have always kept that. So our kids got to experience both ball clubs and both stadiums this year. So, and that's, I think, how it should be for any Chicagoan, man. I know they're going to have their beef. It's Chicago. Choose a baseball team, choose a gang, choose a politician, whatever. It's Chicago. You always got to pick something. Somebody's opposed to something.
Yeah, well, but at least we have fun fighting each other over this stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I certainly well, as long as
no real fighting.
I will not go to a Bleacher game. Cubs Sox,
neither would I, honestly,
because like all these dudes just show up to fight each other, like they don't even care about.
I never make it. I have not been to one of those in I don't know like how long. Seriously, I've been wanting to.
I went to one this year, but 2 years ago, the day before the Christopher Morel walk-off that I heard from my couch because it was so loud, I was at the Crosstown Classic, and the Cubs lost that game. I think it was like 3-2. It was fine. Like it was a fine game. The Cubs were bad. The Sox were bad. The baseball was fine. But when we all stood up for the 7th inning stretch, somebody behind me was like, "Yeah, there hasn't even been any fighting yet." And I was like, I don't come to. What are we doing here? Like, who are the people that came here to fight? Like, I came here for baseball.
Well, but, I was excited. I remember I got tickets from my family for my 14th birthday because the Cubs and the Sox used to play the original Crosstown Classic. It was just one game. And it did not count because Nashville didn't play American.
Exhibition, yes.
And we went down to Comiskey, and I think it was Comiskey still at the time. Almost positive it was. And and part of what I was excited to see was the fights between the fans, because I knew it was going to happen because it was already happening in my neighborhood. Like, oh, that kid's a Sox fan. We even play like Cubs fans versus Sox fans, we had more Cub fans by us.
You grew up and went viral for no fighting in the bleachers.
Yeah. But I didn't even say no fight. I filmed the whole thing. And guys, here is no fighting. It's true. We're singing that song tomorrow. Bleacher Bum Band's playing
no
it.
No fighting in the bleachers.
So, no fighting on this show either, which is just all love tonight. So,
definitely. And shout out Joey Dubs. Showed us a great time. As you know, we were down in South Bend for a conference at the University of Notre Dame. Cubs fans, look up Play Like a Champion. Amazing group of folks bringing together young people from sports and, Christianity. But Joe and his wife, Rachel, showed us an amazing time. We ate some great tacos, took in a great game. Man, that stadium is amazing. Man, if I take King, I won't get to watch the game, but he would have a blast running around that place. So next time I go, I'm just not going for the game. That'll be like background noise, although I want to watch the game and drink a beer. But I'm going to let him just do like amusement park, because that place is like so kid friendly and amazing. Like,
maybe sometime I could come down and we could get a choir together out of the Lost Boys and we can go sing the national anthem.
that would be amazing. You know, one of my only selfish asks, and I don't, I never get to have many in it, or I try not to, but I feel like it's kind of a justified selfish ask. I've wanted to sing, or not even sing, because I can't sing. I wanted to throw out a first pitch for either the Sox, Cubs. I've never been invited to do it. I'm like, man, y'all letting all the rappers throw the pitch out. I can't throw a pitch out. So, yeah, to get the kids to being part of a national anthem would be great.
Well, and then you could throw the first pitch. We'll get the kids to sing the anthem. I mean, and then the Cubs will see, like, hey, Levante is a good pitcher. Let's have him up. Let's bring him up to the bigs.
Yeah, my one time I was going to throw out the first pitch when we won the Laureate Sport for Good Award.
It got canceled.
And Rickett had, right, it snowed. I think it was it a March, April?
Yeah, it was cold still.
It literally snowed, and I'm like, we're standing in the stadium, and Missy Franklin is like, okay, we're pivoting. We're going to present you all the trophy. Chairman Ricketts, you're going to hand it to him in here. And I'm just thinking, like, my first pitch. I'm just looking at the field covered in white snow, and I'm like, my first pitch. Why?
Yeah, I know.
I wasn't even worried about the award. I just wanted the first pitch.
I actually, I have a picture of you and Tom Ricketts holding that award. I'm going to put it up real quick. There you guys are. Yeah, it's cold out. Look at the woman. You're wearing the Lost Boys stocking hat. Tom Ricketts got his winter coat on. This is baseball season, everyone.
Yeah, right? And, I like Tom, but Tom ain't been that close to me since then, because anytime I walk in the room with Tom, I'm like, hey, Tom, I'm trying to build this multi-million-dollar baseball community center. Hey, Tom, you want to give me $1 million? So Tom sees me coming now in a room, and it's like, hey, guys, don't ask me for like $2 million.
Yeah.
No shade, Tom. I'm just saying, in case he's like trolling the podcast.
It's tough being a billionaire these days. Everybody's always asking for something.
I think I drove Tom far away long ago. Right about the time I asked him why they weren't extending Wilson Contreras.
And then didn't Danny start heckling them for a while or something? Like, and you have video to do, like turn around, looking at you.
I told him to buy us a team.
He does still like acknowledge me and say hi, and he's
right. But he
I'm like, I feel like I'm on a list of like friendly, but ...
Yeah, exactly.
Where's Danny at?
Danny's friendlier than I am. But I still get opportunities. I just think they also know that I'm going to ask hard questions.
I just treat everybody the same, whether you're a billionaire or like hanging outside of the dollar store. It doesn't matter to me. But so I've had actually some pretty good conversations with Tom over the time. But the best part was when I lifted his wallet, man. I didn't work for a year. The guy carries G's.
Oh man.
I joke. But But anyway, no, he carries cash. Like that guy even needs cash. He's just like, whatever, just money, man. He's good for it. But
he's cool, man. We've enjoyed a very fruitful relationship with the Cubs. We don't ask for a whole lot, but they offer quite a bit. And if we were to ask for something, I'm pretty sure we get their support. And, that's a lot of thanks to Kerry Blackwell, who's been there for years and amazing. And it'll probably be like, hey, you didn't have to shout me out. But, Kerry just really connects community on the charity side. And, everybody has a great time. So that's another big shout out overall to that ball club, which I think the Sox can learn a lot from the Cubs, is just connecting back into the community. Because you're right, man, growing up, That's one of the things you were tasked with. Hey man, what neighborhood you from? What school you go to? Are you a Sox fan or a Cubs fan? And like, I don't know if that part necessarily exists anymore. And so that's why for us, it's just like, how do we get kids playing again, get them excited? We are a 2 baseball team city.
We're
That is
lucky.
something to be exciting about.
Yeah.
And so we definitely should have, even collectively, one of the biggest fan bases in the country. So yeah, man, I'm proud of that. Whether it's Sox or Cubs, a lot of good friends in both places.
Yeah, and twice the games to go to, and then add the Chicago Dogs to it, and the Schaumburg Boomers, and the Joliet Slammers, and
the Bandits are back. So they brought softball back with the AUSL.
Oh yeah.
So we went out to
Rosemont
a month ago. We went out for the inaugural game that was out there. And we got some cool access. So we got to take some girls and we got to go into the VIP section and hang out with some of the players after the game. And the girls had access to that VIP section during the game. And so just being back out there, because we had a relationship with the Bandits a long time ago when they were in the old league that folded. So, loving this to see that too, because of course we do the fast pitch softball.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, fast pitch softball is no joke. Those women are intense and they can play. And like, I don't know if y'all ever saw the video. It's one of my favorite videos ever, where they looked at the impact of a Jenny Finch rise ball versus the impact of like a 99-mile-per-hour fastball. And they had one of these like pressure situations where there's like glass panel that's supposed to absorb the thing and then give you a pressure reading. So anyway, the Major League Baseball player like throws 99 and it like the machine works and whatever. And Jenny Finch throws her rise ball and that thing shatters. It shatters immediately because that is how much pressure she is putting with that pitch. Plus, they're throwing from 45 feet away. Like, that is insane.
Yeah.
That's why they wear those masks.
Yeah.
I was always like,
because of what we just learned from DJ Carrasco.
Yeah.
About the moment he learned he should wear a cup.
Yeah, in the major leagues. Yeah, when you have a screaming ball coming back at you, he was
telling us, he'd just been called up in the Rule 5 situation, so he went from high A to the majors like immediately and had to hang. He's pitching to Edgar Martinez. Edgar Martinez smokes a liner that like nips his jersey, and he's
pour a hole in it like a cartoon.
Oh my!
So, well, I think we should wrap this show up here. We've been on here long enough on this Bleacher Bunch, and Levante, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, and we'll talk soon. August 2nd, Ranter Fest. Get your tickets now at sunranto.com/ranterfest. Buy the shirt. I saw Tom was saying, when will the Ranter Fest 2025 shirts be available to purchase? The answer is they are available to purchase right now. I just got the link before. Now, don't get mad at me if you want the hat too. I think we're doing a shirt hat deal, but just that's not together yet. So maybe you want to wait a second, but you can purchase the shirt all you want right now. I just shared the link. It's at In the Clutch shirts. I think you can use our code too and still get 10% off, but don't get the 10% off because that 10% should go to the Lost Boys like the rest of the profits for the shirt. So, Sarah, Levante, that was a heck of a show. I had a great time. I am ready to get into the second half of this season.
And by second half, you mean the final 41% of the season.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's a colloquial second half. I know we already passed 81 points.
Honestly, like if we're going to call it halves, we need to have it actually be half. Anyway, I have a whole rant about this, but I'll save it for some other day.
I agree with you in principle, but it's just nice to have you guys both here. I had fun time hanging out with you and DJ, and thanks for all the work you guys do at Lost Boys, and I'll get down there again soon, and we'll be seeing you before too long. And hey, Spagog, everybody!
Spagog.
Here's the story of a bunch of podcasts who were are bringing Cubby content to the world. All of them did their own show. Unconnected, obsessive baseball nerds. It's the story of a bunch of Cubs fans who are consolidating all their shows. They're uniting, doing it together, so we all can grow. Cuppa Cubby Blues combining with Sunranto, Baseball Rabbit Hole and Cubs PS Plus. With Cubs Pod and breaks behind the ivy, they're all teaming up to be the Bleacher Bunch, the Bleacher Bunch. We love the Cubs, that's the way